how would you comment on Sino-Africa relations?
Les relations entre l'Afrique et la République populaire de Chine sont excellentes.
The relations between Africa and China are very good. They are very old relations, and they have developed in a very good way. And in particular, since the convening of the first forum with China in 2008, we've had important projects that we are implementing together. And rightly so, relations are called strategic relations because they correspond to the vision and expectations of Africa. Africa, which you know, according to history, had been suffering from colonization and apartheid, and after the period, Africa decided to unite within the Organization of African Unity, the AU, and then in African Union, and in this march towards progress, China has always been on the side of Africa.
But judging from the current economic situation on the African continent, what are the prime aspects of Africa that really needs Chinese investment and help?
Essentiellement, les infrastructures, parce que ce sont les infrastructures qui permettent.
Essentially in infrastructure, because infrastructure that will enable the development of the resources of the continent, roads, railway, port. And in this area, we have to recognize in our partnership with China. We know China, the Chinese enterprises are very present in the infrastructure sector. Energy, and we can't stop a continent without energy. There are important resources on the continent. We have water, sunshine for renewable energy. We have many opportunities that can be exploited. Investment in infrastructure will make it possible for connecting the different regions of the continent, and this is something fundamental. And all the integration projects, as you know, that we are in a phase of integrating the different regions in the continent. So to facilitate the interconnection between the different regions of the continent is strategic for Africa. And I'm happy to know that China is moving in the same direction.
How do you see the story of China's poverty reduction? Do you think that Africa can entirely borrow the experience of China's poverty reduction?
Oui, quand on voit un pays de la dimension géographique et démographique de la Chine.
When we look at a country of the size and demographic population of China, which we know a few decades ago was basically an agricultural and rural-based economy, there has been a real revolution that has taken place in China. Yesterday, I was telling the think tank forum that this development should be the lesson to the entire world, and there are aspects that can serve as a lesson to a continent like Africa, which is ensuring its economic and social development. To succeed in reducing in a few decades the percentage of poverty from 30% to 3% is in itself an extraordinary achievement. I think that this philosophy of work well done, and a commitment, and particularly to rely on oneself, and China has mobilized its population to realize achievement that is worthy of emulation.
Africa sees more and more investment and help from China, but some Western countries is accusing China of the current China-Africa relations as neocolonialism, which means that they accuses China of sabotaging the local environment and robbing local resources. How would you comment on this remark?
De toutes les façons, ça sont les commentaires des autres.
In any case, these are the comments of others. I have never heard of a single African country, and in any case, I haven't heard in the AU the denouncement of colonialism and neocolonialism in its relations with the People's Republic of China. These are relations that have been agreed and accepted by common content. What I can say at the level of AU, our relations with China has been friendly, sincere, on commonly agreed projects. You know, in this world, there is struggle for Africa, which is the future of the world. There are huge natural resources, important human resources. 60% of the population are young, and it's a reservoir of human capacity for investment and development. The AU and Africa have partnership with the entire world, and we want these partnerships to be beneficial for all parties. Our objective in this diversification, and we have to recognize we have special relationship with China, which is developing to the greatest satisfaction of all the member states.
Finally, a very blunt question. Do you think African people and Chinese people really understand each other?
Absolument. Je pense qu'il y a...
Absolutely, I think, and I was saying that this solidarity at the different stages of history that we live together has created a natural affinity between the African and Chinese peoples. What I noted is that I have myself been on several occasions to China, and I see the different enterprises or the Chinese who come to work in Africa. And very often they adapt themselves very easily to the environment, and I believe that is a very important comparative advantage.
Travailler en Afrique.